in India. So what, just to, give you a brief of who we have today. So we have Parimala Jaggesh. She's the founder of and director of AlaMirap Nutrition. So she's focused on wellness and health. And she's also, she does research as well. She's done a lot of research, and she's a techno-dietitian biohacker. So she's going to explain to us what it all means. And she has over 20 years experience. And as I was, just telling you, she is a health and wellness coach, and she's acquired all her skills in California in the Institute of Integral Studies. And she's the founder of GLAM diet. So GLAM has nothing to do with glamour. It's GLAM means glucose tracking diet process. So that's the word first, evidence-based diet. So we're going to talk a lot about it today. She's going to explain to us what it's all about. And she has conducted various studies, for diabetic association, both in the rural and urban settings, because she is herself a recovered diabetic. And I think that's what led her to be focused on that. She is also a host. She hosts a TV show. And like I was saying, the key thing is, she's surrounded by people who are, a family. So her husband is a very well-known film hero, a celebrity and a politician from the last, he's been doing it for the last 40 years. He has acted in more than 115 movies as a hero, and two sons as well. Are both in the movie. So she's gonna let us know how she's been able to handle, this part of her life, and it's gonna be very interesting. And as usual, please get ready, because you're gonna learn a lot today, especially on the health and wellness. Have your notepads, have your pen, and please come in and let us know where you're watching from. And don't hesitate to interact with us and ask questions to our guest, and let us know, all the insight, and hopefully you'll be able to continue the conversation after this show, because we only here for an hour, and given the wealth of experience that she has, it's going to be very difficult to get everything from her in an hour. So let's start. And let's bring Parimala with us and have this beautiful conversation that everybody is looking for.
But as I got older, I started to be more aware of some of the abusive sides of
So, good evening, Parimala. Welcome to the Greatness Engineering Hour. It's such a pleasure to have you today and to learn, from you, because I know you have a wealth of knowledge in health and wellness. And I'm really looking forward, to share this knowledge with our audience today and for them to understand, the power of what you do. So, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Namaskara. This is greetings from India. So it's an honor. It's an absolute pleasure to be on your show, Muriel. And thank you so much for having me.
Yes, oh yeah, welcome. You're most welcome. And just to start, this beautiful conversation that we want to have, can you please, introduce yourself and let us know who you are and what you've been doing and really, what you're up to right now?
I think this is a pretty interesting question because my life is like a huge banyan tree. My roots are Indian,
Mm-hmm,
but my branches are spreading throughout. So, yes, I had a very early marriage. I got married when I was 15 years,
mm-hmm,
but I always wanted to study. So, studies was a part of my life, and I took my journey. I became an architect engineer. So, everybody thought, my parents thought, my family thought that I would continue to be in the field of engineering. But I think
mm-hmm,
we have different plans, but life has different plans for you. So when I was in my
mm-hmm,
fifth year of architecture, I was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic, Morel, and there was absolutely no family history of diabetes. And by then, I had two kids. I was a mommy for two kids. My younger
mm-hmm,
son was just 2 years old when, at the age of 24, I was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic. And that just rocked my world. It just shook
mm-hmm,
my world because, as a parent, I was so terrified that I would not be there in a healthy state to look after my children. I didn't
mm-hmm,
want to be a burden to them.
mm-hmm,
And that was a turning point, a shift in my life because I completely wanted to understand more about the human body.
mm-hmm,
What could I do to ensure that I remain a backbone for my family rather than being a burden to them? So there was this radical shift in my mindset. And I
mm-hmm,
think when you're touched with a personal problem, the implications is so hard. And that led to the journey. At that point of time, I did not understand why I was a diabetic.
mm-hmm,
Like I would always say, I haven't harmed anybody. Why me?
mm-hmm,
That eternal question, why me? But today, it's 4 years since I've started my AlaMirap Nutrition, my
mm-hmm.
diet company. And I think for the question I asked when I was 24 years, I received the answer 4 years back
Mhm,
because
mhm,
the entire journey has led to the culmination of this diet center, this AlaMirap Nutrition, where as I have walked through the shoes of a diabetic, I
mhm,
exactly know what a diabetic feels. So
mhm,
it is so very personal to me to be able to help as
mhm,
many people as possible. And I think God had different plans. I'm very
mhm.
happy. No complaints, no regrets.
Exactly. Sometime when something happened to you and it's so sudden, you start to really, like you said, ask yourself, why me? Why me? And then down the road, you understand why, because now you've been diagnosed very young, but it has help you to actually develop something to help others, not only to help yourself, but you help others. So you had to go through the process to be able to understand, how the body feels about it, and then create, all those products and this diet that you've put together for everybody. Which leads me to this question, because you obviously develop a diet, and this diet is the combination of research, but also tradition, and what the environment in which you live. Can you expand a little bit on that?
Definitely. What happens is when you're a diabetic,
Mm-hmm,
we are so confused. We do not know what to do. First of all, we have this mindset
mm-hmm,
in India when clients come in, they're very shy to admit that they are diabetic.
mm-hmm,
They feel it's a curse. So many a time when a client comes in, they tell me, except my close family,
mm-hmm,
nobody else knows I'm a diabetic.
mm-hmm,
There is an unknown stigma which they feel is attached to be
mm-hmm,
known as a diabetic.
mm-hmm,
And maybe like around 25 years back, when I would come on shows, when I would talk, and I would openly say I'm a diabetic, people were shocked. He's like,
mm-hmm,
why are you telling me? I mean, nobody knows you're a diabetic. And I would say it's just a metabolic disorder.
mm-hmm,
There is nothing wrong. You have done nothing wrong to be a diabetic, because
mm-hmm,
this was how it started. I understood there was a huge turning point in my life 4 years
mm-hmm,
back, which led to the start of the company.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
A very close friend of mine, he is a renowned psychiatrist,
mm-hmm,
but unfortunately, in his family, his niece, whom he was very close to, she
mm-hmm.
was almost around 28, 29 years. She passed away. And after her death, they came to know that she was a diabetic, but she had hid it away from the family.
Wow,
She
wow,
was
wow.
worried. Yeah, she was
Mm-hmm,
worried about causing tension to the people at home. She was worried that she does not have a prospectus in life if people come to know she's a diabetic, and she
mm-hmm,
just hid it. So
mm-hmm,
that led to huge fluctuations, in turn leading to diabetic coma and death. It was
mm-hmm,
only
mm-hmm,
after death that they found the medical prescriptions and they understood that she was a diabetic, and he was just heartbroken. He
mm-hmm,
was like,
mm-hmm,
Parimala, this day and age, why are people still shy to say
mm-hmm,
I'm a diabetic?
mm-hmm,
So then we realized trying to get them help is a total different pattern or sector altogether.
mm-hmm,
First
mm-hmm,
of all,
mm-hmm,
people have to understand it's okay to say I need help. It's
mm-hmm,
okay to acknowledge I'm a diabetic, because there is so much of improvement in medicine, in technology, and it is no longer a death sentence.
mm-hmm,
I'm 27 years diabetic, leading a healthy life,
mm-hmm,
then started this journey where we thought, let us remove the stigma
mm-hmm,
attached to me saying I'm a diabetic. And that was the first step which we had to do.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And
Along with this, yes, please.
no, go ahead. Go ahead. I just
Uh,
wanted to say that, that's also tradition, and that's where the tradition being so strong actually become a barrier for people to get to optimal health, because they don't want to say certain things, and like this lady that you just mentioned who died because she didn't want, because traditionally it was not good to say that you were diabetic. So that's
yeah.
just what I wanted to say. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what happens, Muriel, if you just look at the top 10 leading causes of death in the world,
Mm-hmm.
metabolic disorders occupy almost the first 6 to 7 slots, be
Mm-hmm.
it cardiovascular problems, respiratory problems, or diabetes, cancer. And
Mm-hmm.
these problems, they can be prevented, they are preventable,
Mm-hmm.
rather than waiting till you're diagnosed as a diabetic, till and then trying to correct it. If we
Mm-hmm.
start the process of healthy lifestyle modifications, that would ensure that you stay healthy as long as possible. Now,
Mm-hmm.
this term, whenever you go to a doctor and the doctor
Mm-hmm.
says, hey, you lose some 5 pounds, you would be more healthy. So what
Mhm.
do I do to lose 5 pounds? Very simple, lifestyle modifications. What do I mean by lifestyle modifications? Because if the patient did know what is lifestyle modification, they would have
Mhm.
definitely done it. It's just that there is so much of information out there in the world,
Mhm.
and you
Mhm.
don't know what is right for you.
Mhm. Mhm.
Maybe there is a diet which is perfect for the people of that country due
Mhm.
to the climate, due to their genetic predisposition. But
Mhm.
if we are going to blindly follow it here, that
Mhm.
might not work. And through my years of trying to be healthy, trying to counsel my family members, my friends, I also have been a medical transcriptionist from the year 1999.
Mhm.
So, being exposed to so much of news about medicine, I realized the key pointer lies in trying to tailor make diets for the
Mhm.
individual based on their roots, based on
Mhm.
their tradition,
Mhm.
based on the locally available ingredients. But rather than just going through ancient wisdom, why not incorporate the latest things which are there in technology now?
Mhm.
So we started using a continuous glucose monitor,
Mhm.
and this tiny instrument provides us with every 5 minutes automatically your blood glucose reading is recorded.
Mhm.
So this instrument lasts for 14 days, and on an average, I get around 1,400 blood glucose readings of an individual.
Mhm.
So what happens is the margin of error to try and understand, is this combination of food perfect for this individual? That error is completely eliminated. For
Mhm.
example, let's say a type 2 diabetic is starting his day with a breakfast of typical bread toast and maybe boiled eggs and a glass of orange juice.
Mhm.
And you want to know how many slices of bread toast is okay for you. You know, the carbohydrate, basically, it's a
Mhm.
balanced meal. The
Mhm.
carbohydrate, protein, and a little of fiber. But it is so easy to understand the best combinations when you have a look at what is happening within your body. It's a
Mhm.
very interesting fact.
Mhm.
If you just think about it, let us say your entire family is sitting across at the breakfast table. So the parents and the kids, all of us are having the same breakfast at
Mhm.
the same time and the
Mhm.
same quantity. There is no variation in that.
Mhm.
But after 2 years, after 2 hours, the postprandial, when you have a check of your blood glucose readings, every single person's readings are going to be different,
Mhm.
right? The same
Yeah.
food, the same time, the same place you're eating, and the same
Mhm.
quantity. But the way it translates into your body is completely different based on all the metabolic problems happening inside. So
Mhm.
you can never say one man's food. It can be that one man's
Mhm.
food could be another man's poison. So this is where GLAM diet steps in.
Wow. And it's good to know because even me, I mean, I always thought that, there are standard diet that, everybody could follow and didn't know to this extent that, if you, especially when you look at diabetes, you actually react to food differently and you need to have a tailored diet. And I think it's important, and I hope the audience is really noting that is that, especially when you want to lose weight and things like that, you have to make sure that you tailor-made your diet and not copy the diet of somebody else. It might work, but it's better to really look at tailor-made everything. So let's see who we have here. We have quite a lot of people listening. We have Lotus. Lotus is hey Lotus, thanks for coming in. She's watching from Washington and she's enjoying. So this is a great topic, and she's encouraging other people to share. There's also Angela from Washington D.C. as well watching, and we have Terence. Terence is watching Florida, and is also confirming that it's okay to ask for help, because you mentioned that a lot of people didn't want to really, ask for help and talking about your condition, because that's the only way that you're gonna be able to find a solution, because you have to go to the expert. You have to talk about it, go to the expert, and get them to help you. So we're gonna take a break just to watch one of your video, and we'll come back and on this very key issue, because I think diabetes and diet are key everywhere in the world. So it's about time that everybody start to understand, what's good, what's not good, because like you said, there's so many so many things out there that we get lost in the process, and it's important to filter all the information that we have with us. So let's watch your video.
Namaskara. Hello everybody. A small introduction to myself. My name is Parimala Jaggesh. I'm the founder and director of AlaMirap Nutrition. Today, the reason for the start of my nutrition company is for the simple thing, I myself had been diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic at the age of 24. Today, it's been a long journey of almost 27 years, and I'm extremely proud to say that I can declare myself as a healthy type 2 diabetic. These changes, which brought about a huge difference in my life, did not require rocket science. It just required evidence-based nutrition, and through simple dietary changes and modifications, I was able to completely reverse the problems associated with type 2 diabetes. This knowledge, this evidence-based knowledge which I had, was the foundation to start my nutrition company. And extremely proud to say, since I have been as a medical transcriptionist since the last 15 to 20 years, I have been a nutritionist, a health and wellness coach, and this has led to helping thousands and thousands of people, because the major requirement for sustained lifestyle changes is simple dietary modifications, which we would be able to follow, sustain throughout our lifestyles. And that is what we aim at in AlaMirap Nutrition. So very proud to also state that I do hold a copyright for a diet process called GLAM diet. Yes, the name is extremely glamorous, but actually it translates to glucose level assisted monitoring diet. And with this glucose level assisted monitoring diet, we are able to scientifically, with evidence, identify the best food combinations for that particular individual and make the dietary changes accordingly. So there is no one diet which fits all. Every single human being is inherently different, and anybody at any point of time in life, they just have to decide, I want to be healthier, and yes, you can definitely become healthier. Mother Nature and nutrition would definitely support you. So you just require 3 things in life: belief in yourself, discipline, and consistency in whatever changes you do. So based on these principles, I have been running this nutrition company. At the same time, I also believe that the way forward would be to educate and inspire people. So in this context, last year, for almost 1,000 women, free of cost, I went ahead with a nutrition training program for them, and the success of the program could be felt this year when almost 5,000 women have enrolled for this. I feel that once you understand the basics of nutrition, you would be able to take care of yourself and your entire family. This is my only aim, and my vision is health for all.
So fantastic. So it's a full process actually. And one question that I wanted to ask you, because I know that I mean you have huge population in rural India. So how do you handle that? Because that's a key thing. In those areas, they don't always have access to the right information. The tradition are strong. So what have been, your strategy and your the process for you to bring this knowledge in rural India?
I think I would love to say that I'm very proud to say that the people in rural India,
Mm-hmm.
as you rightly pointed out, Morel, because there is a lack of people to guide them.
Mm-hmm.
When anybody takes the initiative to go talk to them, interact with them, and educate them, they look up to you like a god.
Mm-hmm.
The responsibility on your shoulder is so high when you go
Mm-hmm.
to rural parts, because they are so thankful that there is somebody out there who's trying to change our lives. And I did a simple survey from my end, from my company. I wanted to understand, because I do know the urban population, the educated population is actually, they keep questioning you, very simple. If you ask them, you tell them, please walk for 30 minutes. Should I go for the complete 30 minutes? Should I break it down? They are just loaded with questions.
Mm-hmm.
They're not actually willing to give it a try. But when I went to rural part, there was a
Mm-hmm.
village called Timmasandra, which is pretty near Bangalore city.
Mm-hmm.
And I chose 50 people who were, they are called BPL holders or below poverty line.
Mm-hmm.
So they get all their the ration or what are the ingredients for the entire month from the government end, because they
Mm-hmm.
cannot, they fall under the below poverty line.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did in a small village, we identified people in the village who are sort of influencers,
Mm-hmm.
being the BPL people, because the knowledge what we share, if it has to continue way past when I finish up with them, I
Mm-hmm.
needed people to explain.
Mm-hmm.
The second pointer was we applied the CGM sensor to 15 people. We did the first 3 months basic test, which any diabetic should do, a
Mm-hmm.
HbA1c test, the hemoglobin A1c test, and also a lipid profile to understand that their cholesterols, their lipid profile was fine.
Mm-hmm.
Then, because these people are really poor, I could not afford to give them a huge list of nutrition products and ask them to incorporate into their diet.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did was we sat with them. We made notes of what are the most easily available, locally grown foods in their homes. So they
Mm-hmm.
were like, ma'am, we have neem, we have mango leaves, we have things called gooseberries. So
Mm-hmm.
all these are excellent sources for control of diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
Fenugreek seeds. So
Mm-hmm.
these are our local Indian foods, which are very easy, very good to control diabetes. So we charted out what is easily available, and their change in their sugar ranges came with as simple as having a tea. One simple pointer
Mm-hmm.
which I always tell is there is not a single ingredient which would completely cut down your sugar. For example,
Mm-hmm.
there is no magic ingredient that is
Mm-hmm.
going to remove your control your blood sugars. So
Mm-hmm.
what should you do? You should play it smart. Right from the time you get up till
Mm-hmm.
the time you sleep, every meal or every time you snack, just ensure that the snack or the meal you're having is not going to push your sugar top.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's it. And throughout the day, you have a lot of ingredients which sort of helps in controlling the spikes in the sugar. It could
Mm-hmm.
be cinnamon, it could be neem, it could be fenugreek seeds. So what we did, these are very easily available, not expensive. We
Mm-hmm.
incorporated these in their diets throughout the day. Just 1 teaspoon, it's not much.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
when they went throughout the day, And they all promised, took a pledge that in spite of whatever work they have in their fields, they would take out half an hour,
Mm-hmm.
30 minutes of physical activity. And
Mm-hmm.
there was a really enthusiastic group who tried to incorporate breathing and yoga into their thing.
Mm-hmm.
Morel, you'll not believe, all
Mm-hmm.
the 15 of them, in the end of 2 weeks, had their sugar ranges under very good control. Almost four of them, their doctors had to reduce their medication, and
Mm-hmm.
they have understood how to manage their blood sugars with what is available in their part of life and living.
Mm-hmm.
That is the key to manage diabetes. So,
Mm-hmm.
what happens, what suits in India might not
Mm-hmm.
suit people elsewhere, but everybody can understand what are the ingredients, what are the combinations. We can wind up with a sample of how we are supposed to go ahead to ensure our sugars don't vary. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, the rural population are such a wonderful crowd. I think if this reaches to them, we can, in fact, erase the title that India is going to become the leading diabetic capital in the world. I'm
Mm-hmm.
very, very sure of that. And that is what I'm aiming at, to try and reach out to the village sector. They
Mm-hmm.
need some guidance in the
Mm-hmm.
proper way within their
Mm-hmm.
financial constraints.
Yeah, and that's key, because and very powerful, because you know, hopefully you have to adapt to what they can afford and what they can find, and also you know, make sure, like you said, that you know, it's done to respect their lifestyle, because otherwise, if they have to change their lifestyle drastically, the motivation might not be there, and that's also another part of thing. They might just say it's just too much for us. We can't, you know, you always have this resistance, because you know, it means that you know, you have to change everything, and it doesn't help, because they will never change everything. So you have to do it gradually, building on what existing, building on what they're doing, and also, you know, making sure that when you've transmitted the knowledge, then somebody can stay behind, and look for, you know, make sure that, you know, in a way, being accountable for themselves to be better. That's powerful. That's a very powerful process. And I wanted to ask you, because you know, it goes basically beyond the diet. So and that's what I understood from what you were explaining. So I've heard you a lot talk about, you know, the free cornerstone to lead a healthy life. What is it all about? Those, you know, what are the cornerstone for you?
Very, very, I think, to bring about a change in anybody's life, you
Mm-hmm.
should be passionately, you should believe it. And
Mm-hmm.
as I'm living that life, there
Mm-hmm.
are so many statistics which say that once you're a type 2 diabetic, maybe within the next 5 years, you could
Mm-hmm.
also become hypertensive. And they
Mm-hmm.
also give you statistics saying the amputations that take place, the different secondary effects,
Mm-hmm.
either the vision loss, blurred vision, or neuropathy. There are so many secondary complications associated with type 2 diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
Muriel, it's a very proud thing for me to say that compared to when I was 24, now
Mm-hmm.
when I'm 52, I am the healthiest.
Mm-hmm.
My blood
Mm-hmm.
parameters are the best.
Mm-hmm.
So, how did this happen? It requires the first cornerstone would be anybody out there, and I believe this. I have
Mm-hmm.
clients as young as 7 years up to
Mm-hmm.
like 85 years. And these cornerstones is what we stand on. The first
Mm-hmm.
thing is encourage. If
Mm-hmm.
anybody in your circle wants to change, let
Mm-hmm.
they have been gone in a way, let their age be anything, please encourage them. Tell
Mm-hmm.
them, yes, there is nothing more powerful than your mind. And if you decide, I want to change my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you can.
Mm-hmm.
That is the first step. Only encouragement is not going to be enough, because
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
could tell them, hey, yes, someone comes and tells you, I want to lose weight. I want to have my sugars under control. So you say, yes, good. Yes, do it. But
Mm-hmm.
then what? They don't know what to do. So
Exactly.
the second most important step is to educate.
Mm-hmm.
You should educate them in whatever health goal they are looking out for.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
this education would be either weight loss, weight gain, just healthy transformation. Just
Mm-hmm.
want to stay healthy with my grandchildren when
Mm-hmm.
I am old. It can be as simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to understand, in this sea of information, what would suit you.
Mm-hmm.
Stop going for quick fixes in life, because it's just that. It's a
Mm-hmm.
quick fix. It falls down. You're back to where you were and more. So
Mm-hmm.
quick
Mm-hmm.
fixes don't work. So educating yourself is the most important thing. Anybody at any point of time can educate themselves. And
Mm-hmm.
the third pointer I always believe in is, this principle completely goes against what any business person would think.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, businesses operate on having a repeat clientele,
Mm-hmm.
whereas I tell people, Mirel, I say, you come to me once, you understand how to look after your health. Please go out into the world, take care of yourself, your family, and friends, and send somebody new to me who
Mm-hmm.
requires my help.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
feel I have failed as a nutritionist. If my client comes back to me
Right.
and says,
Yeah.
"Man, I don't know what to do," or if
Mm-hmm.
my client goes in search of some other diet, then where is the first 2 pointers where I stood on? So I'm
Mm-hmm.
very clear. I work with my clients for almost a year. I
Mm-hmm.
let them choose. I initially handhold them, and unlearning is one of the most toughest things in this world. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
how do you help them unlearn? You cannot completely eradicate what they're doing, but
Mm-hmm.
you can modify. And human tendency, the minute you tell them don't do, they want to do. And
Mm-hmm.
let me give you an example.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
People come back telling, uh, I have started on a diet. I've been really strict till the evening, and evening, oh my God, they go berserk.
Mm-hmm.
They just eat whatever they can lay their hands on. It's
Mm-hmm.
because they have been in a sort of starvation mode, and then they come back, they say, ma'am, I have so much sugar cravings. The culprit is not the 4 p.m. snack which they're having. The
Mm-hmm.
mistake does not lie there. The mistake lies from what they have been doing since the morning.
Mm-hmm.
What is
Mm-hmm.
the food they have eaten? Have they had enough protein? Have they hydrated themselves? Have they had good meals without enormous time gaps?
Mm-hmm.
So I never talk about the sugar cravings. I say, yeah, that's okay. Don't bother about it. All you have to do is just start with these minor changes, is how I start their lives. When I
Mm-hmm.
don't talk about the sugar cravings, they just start adding one or two simple changes into their life for an entire week.
Mm-hmm.
Within 2 or 3 weeks, they come back telling, I don't know why, but I don't have craving.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
is as
Mm-hmm.
simple as that. I don't have to tell them. They come back giving the results what they want. It's just that, when you're healthy, you don't
Mm-hmm.
realize, not only health, be it relationships, be it life, you never realize the value of it till it's
Mm-hmm.
gone.
Exactly.
And this is very true where health is concerned. Youngsters feel we have the whole life ahead. People in the corporate sector feel my promotion, my working is much more important than taking time off to take care of my health. What
Mm-hmm.
is the point? I always ask, okay, let's say you entered a software company as in the first step of the ladder, and through the years, maybe 20 years, 25 years, you have come to the highest position. And
Mm-hmm.
when you're going to retire, when they're going to call out your name, when they want to honor you,
Mm-hmm.
are you going to go in there on a wheelchair, or are you going to bounce up the steps?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That decision, which should happen 25 years from now, should be taken today.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot say
Powerful.
25 years down the lane, I am going to go and do it. So, what does it require? The right balance.
Mm-hmm.
Out of 24 hours, we just ask you to take out 30 to 45 minutes for your health, where you do things which keeps your stress under control. You do things where you're physically active. The rest, give some time to your family, because everything is lost if you reach at the pinnacle and you're all alone without having anybody around you. So, yes, family, friends is important. Along with it, definitely your work. And it doesn't require a lot of effort, it just requires simple planning. So, we could definitely wind up with a simple sample chart so that people do understand, hey, is it as simple as this to become healthy? Yes, it is very simple, provided you do this consistently.
Totally.
The key word is consistency. That's it.
So the consistency, and so the step number 3 was on power. So that's the way you do it. So wow, it's just amazing, and like you said, it's not difficult, but we don't take the time to do it. We don't have balance in our life. We tend to overdo in one area and forget about our health, which is the most important thing for us. And also, like you said, it's just about consistency. We can start small, but if we do it consistently, then it helps, the process. And as you go, you increase, you increase things you change more things in your life, and by the time you realize, you're there. And that's
Yes.
that's the key thing. But a lot of people struggle with it, and I think that's where people like you come in, because then you give the support, you educate, and you went through it, so you can easily guide them and understand what they're going through, and lead them to the right, give them the right advice. So we're gonna take another break, and we come back and talk about your personal life, because it's also a very intriguing and amazing part that I really want the audience to know, because it's just amazing, just amazing. So we are back with Parimala on, having a very inspiring and very insightful conversation on health and wellness. And now we're going to talk a little bit about, things a little bit more personal, because Parimala is actually married to a star, and, her husband is one of the best known, I think, person
Heroes.
in the film industry in India, in Bollywood. He's been, in 150 movies, and her 2 sons as well are also in the industry. So how do you manage the fame of your husband and being able to make a name for yourself? Because I can imagine, is very well known in India, in the Bollywood industry, which is a big industry. And you coming with, obviously you made a name of yourself in the health and wellness as well in India. But how do you balance that? How do you, manage all of this?
First of all, every state in India, the
Mm-hmm.
movie people, we use uh, the word wood. So when we say Mumbai or Bombay, that is Bollywood. So
Mm-hmm.
Bangalore, we are from a state called Karnataka or
Mm-hmm.
Sandalwood. We are very
Mm-hmm.
famous for Sandalwood. So our movie people, our entire filmdom is called Sandalwood.
Sandalwood.
And
Okay.
sandalwood.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, my husband has been in the movie industry from almost 36 to 37 years.
Mm-hmm.
And as when I met him, I was studying in my ninth standard, ninth grade,
Mm-hmm.
and I we eloped and
Mm-hmm.
got married when I was in my 10th grade. That was when I was 15 years.
Wow.
So at
That's
that
young.
point of time, very young,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think I would do that mistake now. But yes, that I did it, and
Mm-hmm.
he was not in the movie field then.
Mm-hmm.
The irony is, I am completely into books and science and
Mm-hmm.
technology. And I feel that movie field is sort of a fairy tale world, which I don't associate much.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, everybody around me happened to go to the movie field. So when
Mm-hmm.
I married him, he was just a college student, had
Mm-hmm.
no clue that he's going to enter movies.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but yes, that was a decision which he liked, he wanted, and I'm hyper possessive, Mirel. So it's I don't know whether it's a typical Indian trait or what, but I am not very comfortable seeing my husband romancing other people, other
Yeah, can
heroines.
and that's why I'm asking, because he's pretty well known, and then there's a lot of romance, and there's also a lot of women who actually try to go after. So how do you manage that as the wife? Because it can be very disturbing.
That I think that was the reason I became a diabetic, Maria,
Mm-hmm.
because as I told you, I got married at 15. So by the time he became a top hero by 21, 22, and I'm a sort of person who would not open out much because
Mm-hmm.
I would not want to hurt him. So I did the biggest mistake of like just locking down all my emotions, my
Mm-hmm.
insecurities, my fears, because I was still studying. I
Mm-hmm.
had two kids. I hadn't completed my education. After my marriage, also, I continued studying.
Mm-hmm.
So and my parents were very, very upset at that point of time. And they told me, no coming back to my home. You go to him, you just get lost. So I
Mm-hmm.
had
Mm-hmm.
no support whatsoever. I think that repressed fear, insecurity, stress led
Mm-hmm.
me to become a diabetic. And it was then that I had to sit and decide what am I doing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very clear. I had just two options in front of me. One,
Mm-hmm.
do I take my children and call in for a separation, walk
Mm-hmm.
away, or
Mm-hmm.
do I stay in this marriage?
Mm-hmm.
And my husband had done nothing that I had to walk away from the marriage. It's just that I was scared. I was
Mm-hmm.
worried. What if, in my mind, it was, what if tomorrow he does that? What if tomorrow he does this?
Mm-hmm.
So it was not like something major had happened. Then I thought, this is very silly. I
Mm-hmm.
had
Mm-hmm.
all the doubts, questions, and the imagination is really bad. So
Mm-hmm.
all the
Mm-hmm.
vivid imagination, I said, this is not helping me, in turn, not helping my children.
Mm-hmm.
That was the time I decided, this is almost around 27 years ago. I said, I entered this wedlock with trust. I will stick with trust. If something happens,
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
point of time, let me handle it. But let me not break
Mm-hmm.
down every single day because that's not going to take me
Mm-hmm.
anywhere. And with this thought,
Mm-hmm.
that was a shift in my life. So
Mm-hmm.
we have this where he continues what he is doing. I am doing with my education. I take care of the kids. But very, very important pointer in a marriage. People ask us 36 years down the lane, how are you guys really content? It's because there is give and take between both of us. If he knows there are certain things which might upset me, he takes care not to upset me. I also respect that and I give him his space. So what has happened is, and I stopped bottling up. Today, if something upsets me, I tell him, please sit. See, this is what I'm feeling. So what do you say? But it took me years to come to this position. It couldn't happen overnight. So, but I'm very glad I took that decision, because what happened, I am able to, now this has been a blessing in disguise. I had taken a conscious decision. Till the last 4 years, I was completely, I had taken a back step from public life, because he was such a huge personality. Everywhere we go, it was only him. So I was content. Okay, let him do. I was completely working as a transcriptionist. I have been working in different corporate sectors. But in the back end, what happened as we are reaching I was reaching my 50th year. So, women start thinking, oh my God, half century, what am I doing with my life? And blah, blah, blah. And then I realized I had so much to offer the people. And I didn't know why I was holding back. There was a very small incident which actually brought about AlaMirap Nutrition. My husband is a great devotee. So we were traveling to a temple. And en route, we just stopped. And from a small shack, we picked up a cup of tea. And we were drinking the tea. He just uploaded that pic on the Instagram. I think we went to the temple, we came out, maybe within an hour, there were lakhs and lakhs of likes for that simple thing, with people saying, oh my God, you guys are so down to earth and all that. That actually shook me, for the simple reason. I realized, a pic with just a cup of tea is not changing anybody's lives in any way. But they take the time, the trouble to like, to comment. I said, they are so involved with us. What are we giving back to them? And that day, I came back home. I was thinking about it throughout the journey. After I came home, I asked my husband to sit. My two sons, my elder son is married. My daughter-in-law is from Netherlands. So I asked her also to sit, and I told them, guys, all these years, I have given my 100% to be the best mom, the best wife, the best mother-in-law. I know to what extent I could do. I said, from now, I want to give back to the society. So initially they were worried, because I'm a very sensitive person. They're like, how are you going to handle coming out to the public? You're going to meet all sorts of people. But I said, it's okay. If even one person's life can change, I think the decision I made is good. And I think that was God's way of taking me out, because today there are lakhs and lakhs of people who are getting benefited with all my life experience, the years of research which I have had. And because we started our life literally after our love marriage, we had to start from the payments. We were so poor. We were steeped in poverty till my elder kid was born, and we had to grow up in life. So I do understand what poverty is. I do understand how difficult it is in this world. So, and I have an excellent memory and I have empathy. Today, when somebody comes, I'm able to put myself in their shoes. And I think that is the reason people are able to understand what I am going through. I am able to understand what I'm going through. And this has become such a beautiful relationship in life, Meryl.
And I can imagine, because you are wonderful, and I can see it, and you go really on the ground, and you work with people on the ground, which is not always the case, especially when people start to, even if you've been poor, when you start to go up, it's sometimes difficult to come back and help people who are actually starting like you, and that I really commend you for that, and it's really good. But one thing that I wanted to mention, because you were saying that at the beginning of your when you got married, because of the not expressing yourself and the mental, then your health started to deteriorate, and that's something that we have to understand as well, the link between what we think and the body reaction, and it can actually make us sick. So we also have to take care of our mental health, and in all this process, there's the diet, but it goes beyond the diet. There's also the mental health, and like you said, the physical part of things, which is beautiful and complete. So I mean, I really don't want to stop this discussion, but we have limited time, and I
Yes.
just want to ask you, how do people connect with you, and how, is there anything that you want them to, a service or product or something that you think would help them, and really, let us know what, the message that the key message that you want to.
Very simple, Marel. When I started, I thought it's just going to be within the confines of my state in India, Karnataka. But
Mhm,
today, technology has just shot us up globally. I
mhm,
have clients from Australia, from Dubai, from America. I have clients from
mhm,
everywhere because online consultations have become so easy. So we work with people throughout, and definitely no drastic changes, things
mhm,
which are going to be very simple with science and evidence, whichever part of the world you are in, you can definitely get back your health. And how to identify or to remember my company name is by far the most easiest thing. My name is Parimala.
mhm,
All you would have to do is write my name in the reverse order.
mhm,
ALAMIRAP. That is
mhm,
AlaMirap Nutrition. The reason I did this was I
mhm,
believe anybody in this world can reverse engineer their way back to health and wellness. So,
mhm.
guys, you want to get in touch with me. It's very simple. Just remember in the Greatness Engineering Art Show, Parimala, just write it back and you find me and my number. That's it.
Okay, that's fantastic. It's been such a pleasure to have you, and to have this breadth of, knowledge, and positivity, because at the end of the day is to give hope to people, especially those who are struggling with their health and don't really know where to go. And I encourage, we got to do a last run of, people who are here. So Angela is still here. We need to understand better of what food is good or bad for us, and tailor the right food for effective health. Angela, again, anyone can make a change, and encouraging people is very powerful and empowerment. And then we have Roslyn. Roslyn was there as well, so true. And we have some other people who came a little bit late, and so she's saying hello, Queen Sean, and she's also, I think she's in Florida. If I hope I'm not mistaken.
Hello.
It's a very good friend, and Angela, again, talking about the naming of your company, very clever naming. So we had a very good time with you, Parimala. I'm just so happy you accepted to come and share, your story, and also educate us, about health and wellness based on your research and based on your own experience. So that's been really amazing. So just for the audience, we have another show tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to talk about finance. So we have a gentleman from the US, Dr. Sadler, and Dr. Sadler is also the money doctor. So he's gonna talk about, strategies, financial strategies, smart financial strategies that, we don't learn at school or anywhere. And I'm really looking forward, about, I'm really expectant about this show tomorrow. So there are some news as well. So there's the Greatness Engineering magazine coming out. So it's going to be a first, and I'm very excited about it as well. It's going to be ready at the end of this month. So working really hard to have to have it out and share it with the audience and also people around the world that are connected with me. It's been a project in the making, but I finally decided to take great, take action. And it's just fantastic to see. It's just like having another baby. So it's just fantastic to see that. So that's all for today. Again, Parimala, amazing. And we'll talk later anyway. And really, have a great evening. And I
Thank you so much. Thank you
Mhm.
so much for having me, and for all you lovely listeners, viewers out there. My only request is your
Mhm.
health is the biggest wealth in this world. So stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy. One life, rock it in a healthy way. Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. We finish really, strong. And bye bye, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.